I'm Adrian Ghobrial outside the offices of Your Ward News, a controversial paper which is reigniting debate tonight over the difference between freedom of speech and hate speech. In the winter issue, there are many anti-Semitic images which are sparking outrage in predominantly Jewish neighborhoods in our city.
I think it's an insult to every self-respecting human being that this should exist within our city.
The paper says its motto is the 3 E's: to educate, entertain, and enrage. And this latest edition is striking a chord with residents, many in the north end of the city, who called police this weekend after receiving a copy at their home.
I'm incredibly offended by it. I think a lot of my constituents would think it's hate crime.
And that is exactly what police are looking into for a second time. Back in 2015, the paper was investigated as a possible hate crime, but no charges were laid. Now, with this new issue and a fresh set of complaints, the publication is being investigated yet again by police as a possible hate crime.
For a successful prosecution, they need 2 things. They have to meet the evidentiary threshold, and they also need the approval of the Attorney General. So it's a 2-step process, and there is an investigation ongoing.
The paper skewers politicians, but it also has images of swastikas and promotes the New Constitution Party, an unregistered neo-Nazi party led by the editor of Your Ward News, James Sears, who City News caught up to in April of 2016.
I think Adolf Hitler is, he's my second greatest idol after Jesus Christ.
Sears told City News he welcomes the investigation, but when it comes to freedom of speech over hate speech, he does not agree with Canadian law. In a written statement this afternoon, Sears says, "I do not believe that Canada should have any hate speech laws. I like the American approach to free speech. As long as you do not threaten a specific individual with harm, then you can say whatever you want."
My hope is when something that's so repugnant like this would just be dismissed by the people who are receiving it at their doors, and they just use it to line their bird cages.
Last summer, the federal government ordered Canada Post to stop delivering the controversial Toronto-based tabloid. In the winter 2017 edition, Sears writes that every single copy of every print run is being delivered by private distribution companies and our volunteer army. We showed the latest edition of Your World News today to a rabbi who lives in the Eglinton and Bathurst area, where residents received the paper this weekend.
It's an insult to everybody. It's an insult to any human being. The idea of a person having a difference of ideology, difference of opinion is one thing, but this is outright hate, hate that's taken to an extreme.
And despite the outrage, Sears says he's still working on the spring issue of Your Ward News and will only stop if a judge orders a publication ban.